It's a different political environment now than it was 10 years ago. And it's not easier. I think that makes our work that much more important.
They write about complicated things in a very understandable way.
They give us information that is not Republican or Democrat.
It is their research that turns on the light bulbs in so many people.
There are huge decisions in Frankfurt that have massive implications for the life and well-being of Kentuckians. We're an organization that takes complex issues, bills, budgets, taxes, and help Kentuckians understand what they mean. We write op-eds, research briefs, we work directly with lawmakers, and we work directly with community groups.
Working with the general public, working with the media, working with partners to really quickly distill what a policy is, why it's important, who it's going to affect, and what decisions need to be made around it for the greatest good. That's why we exist.
We have partnerships, coalitions, collaborations that are meeting every day to talk about different issues and talk about how to move them. And while all of our work is important and we work on a lot of issues, there are 3 issues that have been primary to what we've worked on over the last 10 years. Kentucky is unique in some ways in that public education is a right in our Constitution. So our founders committed to a strong public education system that would serve every student in this state. We have seen among the deepest cuts to K-12 education of any state in the country since 2008. And we saw a major attack in 2017 and 2018 that would end pensions for teachers. As soon as these proposals came out, we were able to distill and analyze what was happening and get that information out so that teachers and other public employees understood what was at stake. We didn't do the organizing, but we helped provide the information, helped them understand how serious it was, what the implications were for their lives, but also for their schools. There was a lawsuit, and the bill got thrown out. It forced everybody to go back to the table and have a more open conversation. That's what the light of information can do.
There is no politician, legislator who can say in truthfulness that they can read every page and every line of every bill that we vote on. So it's important that we have people, for instance, from the Kentucky Center, that make sure we have those facts and figures and we have a reliable ear that we trust.
Pretty much as long as we've existed, we've been involved with expanding Medicaid to more low-income adults in Kentucky. When Governor Bevin suggested that we, roll out this Medicaid waiver that was going to cut potentially hundreds of thousands of people off of health care, we had spent years up to that point extolling the virtues of Medicaid and sharing with the public what this meant for them specifically, but also what it meant for us as a community as a whole. We had no small part to play in making sure that the facts were brought to bear in federal court and that the judge could make a good decision based off the reality of what we were facing in Kentucky. Having blocked that gave Governor Andy Beshear the opportunity to rescind the waiver. That meant that 500,000 people at that point could keep their health coverage without barriers. And it also meant that we preserved a coverage tool that we were going to need really badly once COVID hit. So this was really, I think in the end, a critical life-saving policy in the middle of a pandemic that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Explaining the meaning of policy decisions to the public is vitally important. KyPolicy does a very good job of that, and I mean that helps journalists, but in the end it helps the public understand what their elected officials and their governments are doing.
When you're looking at the state of criminal justice in Kentucky, it's really helpful to start with incarceration. If you think about the factors that lead to a highly incarcerated population, it's things that we criminalize that we're not addressing otherwise, like homelessness, parents in crisis, and substance use disorder. It's really a financial and poverty issue that we're not addressing because we're not providing the resources that people need to survive and thrive in their communities.
Let us all declare together, amen.
Amen.
Going to the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy allowed us to get data and hear from jailers and judges and county execs and allowed them to hear the facts and the numbers from us and the faith piece from us. So we can move towards what we believe will be some significant reform in our bail system. Tonight, you will learn of the difficulty of persons awaiting trial to receive bail. Tonight, you will be able to place the facts with your faith.
Over the past 10 years, we've been really proud the way we've been able to help shift the criminal justice conversation. Kentucky Center for Economic Policy occupies a very unique space where we can bring the storytelling and the research analysis and synthesize that together to get a full picture for how policy impacts us all.
If you believe that decisions that affect millions of people should be based on conclusions derived from credible data, then what the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy does has become even more important than it was 10 years ago.
You learn who you can trust, and that's what's important. And I have found through the Kentucky Center that they're very reliable and trustworthy.
Why should I fund a policy group? Because it is their research that will help us to be a more equitable commonwealth.
To move out of the bottom of the list of so many things, we have to have good policy. We're not going to have good policy if there's not good information. What I've seen over the 10 years is we've been able to help Kentuckians take that step of being more fully informed citizens. And so that's the role we're going to continue to play, and it can make a huge impact on what kind of Kentucky we have.